Thank you for watching this video from Ohio Brewing Technologies. Now that you've seen how our HC-3800 electric brewery controller works in a real setup, we'll show you a closer look at the software. We will walk you through a typical brewing process showing how your HC-3800 makes it easy to control heating and boiling of your water and wort. After that, we will show you some features that some brewers may find useful. Let's start down in this corner where we have a live picture of the face of the unit so you can see what the indicator lights are doing and what the knob position is. We'll start by turning on the unit, and all four lights come on for a few seconds. The power light stays on, and since it's plugged into the computer, the USB light is on also. This is what the HC-3800 application looks like when it is started. Notice the heater control view window is showing. This is where all the important buttons are that you will use. See how you can set the power level? Just like on a stove. The total power is shown here. If you want to heat up your strike water, you would probably set this to 100%. If you are boiling, you adjust the power level to maintain a controlled boil. This box shows how much energy we have used to make this batch of beer. Before we begin making this batch, I'm going to reset it to 0. We will watch this number increase as we move through our brewing process. Let's say we're making a recipe that calls for 5 gallons of water in the mash. We tell it right here that we have 5 gallons, or 20 quarts. We are also going to tell it what temperature the water is right now. This is important because the HC-3800 will actually calculate the amount of energy that is needed to hit your strike temperature. We also compensate for properties of your kettle. We will show this at the end of the video. This is one of the things that sets the HC-3800 apart from any other heating solution on the market. If you purchased a thermocouple accessory for your HC-3800, then you can use it to find the temperature of the water before heating it up. That is what this button does right here. We want to heat our water to 163 degrees. Why we picked this temperature is beyond the scope of the video, so if you need help getting started with all grain brewing, we provide some links on our website to folks who can explain it better than me. Now that we've entered the amount of water, the start and end temperatures, the HC-3800 knows how much energy to use. Now we're ready to get the water heated up. This button starts the heating. You can see how much time is left, and it is updated based on actual energy measurements from the HC-3800. You can see how much power the heating element is using. This isn't terribly important to watch, but it lets you see that everything is working properly. It is normal for this number to drop from 3800 watts as the element becomes hotter. The HC-3800 will keep track of how much energy is being used, no matter what the element does, so your final temperature will be accurate. If you're not going to be right in front of your computer, then you should hit this magnifying glass and open the Easy View window. From a distance, you can see how much time is remaining and what the temperature of the water is. Please stay near the kettle while this is heating up. It is dangerous to let the computer work without you there. There will be enough other things for you to do, like clean up equipment and prepare the ingredients. You don't need to walk away. There are several ways to stop the heating process if you need to. Turning off the HC-3800 is probably the quickest and fastest way, but you can also press the stop button right here. If the USB cable becomes unplugged, that will also stop the heating. Remember, the element is electrically energized whenever the HC-3800 is powered on. If something electrical gets wet, then turning off the switch to the HC-3800 and unplugging it is the only safe way to remove power. Okay, we have let the water heat up and the timer is almost expired. If you've missed by a few degrees, you can repeat the process of acquiring the temperature and hitting the heat button again. If this continues to be a problem, then maybe the kettle is losing energy faster than we thought. We'll show you how to fix this later in the video. But now, you're ready to drain the water into the mash tun. But first, turn off your HC-3800, or at least unplug the heating element from it. You don't want a computer glitch to accidentally dry fire your heating element. Notice that so far we have used 1.32 kilowatt hours of electricity. That is a cost of roughly 13 cents. Suppose my mash is done and I've drained the wort into the boil kettle. Depending on the style of beer, you may or may not wish to start heating the first runnings. I won't set it to full power now, this could scorch the wort, but I will add first wort hops and then set this to 30% power just to keep it warm. I hit the boil button to start the heating element. You see the heating indicator light turned on over here. You better make sure if you have two kettles that the right one is plugged in. You don't want to accidentally dry fire the element in your hot liquor tank. You might even want to leave some water in the hot liquor tank if you're afraid you may one day make this mistake. So let's let the mash soak in the sparge water for a few moments, and then we will drain that into the boil kettle. That's when the real fun starts. Suppose all of the wort is now in the boil kettle, but this is still set to 30% power. It's probably never going to boil, so it's time to turn it up. I will set it to 100% until it begins to boil, and then I will probably want to turn down the power. Stand nearby and watch for boilovers. When the water begins to boil, you can hit the timer reset button. You can see the timer in the Easy View window also, and use it as a guide to know when to add your hops. You can see here what your evaporation rate is. This is only valid after it starts to boil. If you turn down the power, the evaporation rate is less. We would let the boil continue, and then come back in about an hour. We've made a batch of beer using the HC-3800, so let's explore how you can use our software to get the best performance. During the boil, you may wish to take control away from the computer so that you can more quickly turn down the power if a boilover is imminent. That's what this knob is for. You can still see everything that's going on in the software, but the computer does not control the power level. Even while under manual control, you can still use the software to turn off the heater if you wish. If you will not be using a computer to brew, then the knob is your only control. You can still control the heater, you just won't have a computer screen to see the status. Here in the Tools menu, we have a Kettle Properties page. This improves the accuracy of your water heater. Besides heating water, we have to heat the metal in the kettle too, and some heat is lost from the sides and top and bottom of the kettle. If you set the weight, height, and diameter and material of the kettle, everything else should be okay. This concludes our video. Thank you for watching.